Fans fell hard for Spencer and Alexandra, the whirlwind romance that gave 1923 its soul. But as the Yellowstone universe shifts, so do the stars behind its most beloved couple. Whispers of separation, career pivots, and distant interviews have left viewers wondering, is the magic truly over? Today we're diving into what's really going on with Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlaepfer. On-screen, off-screen, and everything in between. Are Spencer and Alex really done? On screen and off, Spencer and Alex, the heart-throbbing duo from Yellowstone's spin-off universe, captivated fans with their undeniable chemistry and tumultuous romance. But lately, rumors have been swirling both on-screen and off, leaving fans wondering if this golden couple has reached the end of their journey. In the series, cracks in their once fiery connection have become more evident, with recent episodes showing emotional distance, miscommunication, and some jaw-dropping moments that hint at an irreversible shift. The wild ride that once pulled them together now seems to be pushing them apart. Off-screen, things are just as intriguing. Both actors have taken on new projects, fueling speculation that their time in the Yellowstone world might be winding down. Social media sleuths have noticed a drop in their usual behind-the-scenes posts together, and neither actor has addressed the status of their working relationship directly. While some argue it's just a strategic career move, others can't help but read between the lines, questioning if the emotional connection that brought Spencer and Alex to life has fizzled out behind the camera. What adds even more spice to the situation is the timing. With the Yellowstone franchise at a pivotal point, wrapping up arcs, spinning off new stories, and shifting focus, there's a real chance that Spencer and Alex's story is being closed to make room for fresh faces and new drama. Creators may be intentionally steering their narrative toward a breakup to align with casting shifts or contract endings. Either way, it's a bold move that risks alienating fans who have invested in their love story from the start. Yet, there's still a sliver of hope. In TV land, nothing is ever final until it's on screen in black and white. And even then, surprises happen. The actors may simply be exploring creative freedom outside the franchise while keeping the door open for a return. But with the emotional weight of recent plotlines and the actors' personal moves, it's hard not to feel like we're witnessing the final chapter of one of Yellowstone's most iconic couples. Whether it's heartbreak or just a plot twist, fans are watching every move, waiting for answers. Brandon and Julia's post-1923 projects. Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlaepfer, known to fans as Spencer and Alexandra from 1923, have wasted no time stepping into bold new chapters since wrapping their work on the hit series. Both actors have made strategic career moves, signaling their desire to break away from the shadow of their iconic characters and prove their range. Brandon has already been spotted on the set of a gritty indie thriller, showing off a darker, more intense persona that contrasts sharply with the rugged romantic energy he brought to 1923. It's a calculated pivot that screams leading man and has industry insiders buzzing about awards potential. Julia, meanwhile, has chosen a more glamorous path, recently signing on to star in a high-profile streaming drama set in the elite world of international diplomacy. Her new role positions her as a fierce, fashion-forward power player, far removed from the wartime bride we saw in 1923. She's also begun to lean into the fashion world off-screen, appearing at major events and gracing magazine spreads, further cementing her rebrand as a modern Hollywood it girl. The message is clear. She's here to stay, and she's not afraid to shake up her image. What's particularly fascinating is how both Brandon and Julia have managed their transition with intentional distance from each other. Though they once shared the screen with electric chemistry, they haven't been seen promoting each other's work or appearing together at post-show events. It's a subtle professional separation that suggests they're carving out individual lanes and perhaps protecting themselves from being typecast as a package deal. Fans who ship them both on and off screen may be disappointed, but from a career standpoint, it's a savvy move. Still, their 1923 legacy lingers, and producers aren't ruling out a possible return if the story and the stars align again. But for now, Brandon and Julia are making it clear. Spencer and Alex may have ridden off into the sunset, but the actors behind them are charging full speed into fresh territory. Whether these next roles redefine their careers or simply add new layers, one thing is certain. This is just the beginning. From soulmates to separate careers, Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlaepfer once lit up the screen as Spencer and Alexandra in 1923, embodying a love so intense it felt destined. Their chemistry was the heartbeat of the show, raw, passionate, and impossible to ignore. Fans were convinced they were witnessing not just a fictional romance, but the emergence of a real-life acting duo set to take Hollywood by storm. But as the dust settles on their 1923 chapter, it's become clear these on-screen soulmates are charting very different paths in their post-Yellowstone careers. Brandon has embraced roles that dive deep into darker, more complex territory. His next project puts him in the shoes of a morally ambiguous anti-hero, a far cry from the noble, love-driven Spencer. This deliberate shift is more than a career move. It's a declaration of independence, a desire to be seen as a transformative actor rather than a romantic lead. Critics are already taking notice, praising his range and hinting that he's just scratching the surface of his potential. Julia, on the other hand, has taken a glossier approach, aligning herself with the high fashion and prestige drama scene. Her post-1923 choices signal a calculated leap into elite storytelling. Think political thrillers, period dramas, and roles that demand poise, depth, and an edge of danger. Her ascent feels strategic, guided by a vision for longevity and influence. She's not just chasing roles, she's curating a brand and doing it with the poise of a seasoned starlet. Together, they were magnetic. Apart, they're unstoppable forces, each driven by a unique vision of success. While fans may long for a reunion, on screen or otherwise, their separate trajectories speak to the evolution of two artists refusing to be boxed in by a single storyline. From soulmates to solo stars, Brandon and Julia are proving that sometimes going your own way is the most powerful story of all. Was their love story the peak of 1923? There's no denying it, Spencer and Alexandra's love story wasn't just a subplot in 1923, it was the emotional engine that kept viewers hooked. While the Dutton family battles, frontier brutality, and historical weight gave the show its grit, it was the sweeping, against-all-odds romance between these two characters that gave it heart. Their chemistry was electric, their stakes impossibly high, and every stolen glance or desperate reunion made audiences feel like they were witnessing something timeless. For many, Spencer and Alex were the soul of 1923, a passionate flame burning against the harsh winds of history. From the moment they met, their connection felt bigger than the show itself. The backdrop of war-torn landscapes and societal collapse only made their bond more compelling. Whether they were fleeing danger, wrestling with grief, or simply sharing a moment of peace, their scenes felt cinematic, epic even. It was the kind of love story that elevated the series beyond a Western drama and into the realm of sweeping classic romance. And in a world as brutal as 1923, their love felt like the one fragile, beautiful thing worth fighting for. But was it the peak? That's the question still sparking debate among fans and critics alike. Some argue that without Spencer and Alex's storyline, the show would have been just another well-shot historical drama, heavy on grit but light on soul. Their arc offered emotional contrast to the relentless brutality. And for many, their journey across continents, through war and trauma, was what made the season unforgettable. Others believe 1923 was strongest when focused on the larger legacy of the Dutton family, with Spencer and Alex merely offering a detour into romance. Still, even as new characters and storylines emerge, nothing has come close to replicating the emotional high Spencer and Alexandra delivered. Their love story wasn't just a highlight, it was the heartbeat of 1923. Whether or not the series can top it remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, lightning struck when Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlaepfer shared the screen. And in the eyes of many fans, that love story was the pinnacle, The moment when 1923 truly soared. Is this the end of the Yellowstone couple era? The Yellowstone universe has given us some unforgettable couples. Rip and Beth, Case and Monica, Spencer and Alexandra, all burning with passion, pain, and the kind of tension that keeps fans binge-watching long after midnight. But with recent developments both on-screen and off, the golden age of Yellowstone love stories might be coming to a close. There's a noticeable shift in tone across the franchise, moving away from slow-burning romances and toward fractured relationships, high-stakes drama, and individual character arcs. The question on everyone's mind: are we witnessing the end of the Yellowstone couple era? Spencer and Alex's potential split feels like the final thread unraveling in a once romance-heavy saga. Their storyline carried the emotional weight of 1923, and now, with both actors branching into separate projects and fewer romantic narratives emerging in the franchise, it seems the writers are choosing to explore survival, legacy, and power over passion. It's a creative pivot, but one that leaves a void for fans who fell in love with the raw intimacy Yellowstone couples once brought to the screen. Behind the scenes, the landscape is shifting too. As actors pursue other opportunities, chemistry-tested pairs are breaking up, not just in script, but in cast dynamics. That natural off-screen spark that once spilled into storylines is harder to come by as the original ensemble begins to evolve and expand. New faces are entering the franchise, yes, but few have matched the magnetic pairings of earlier seasons. It's not that Yellowstone has lost its fire, it's just burning in a different direction. Still, fans are hopeful. In a world as unpredictable as Taylor Sheridan's, nothing stays still for long. Maybe we're not at the end of the Yellowstone couple era. Maybe we're just between chapters. But if Spencer and Alex truly fade into memory, they might very well be the last of a legendary line of love stories. And if that's the case, what a ride it's been. Julia and Brandon's latest interviews, what they didn't say? Julia Schlaepfer and Brandon Sklenar have both stepped back into the spotlight recently, giving interviews that, while polished and professional, left fans with more questions than answers. Promoting their new projects, both actors spoke highly of their 1923 experience, praising the cast, the writing, and the emotional depth of their characters. But for all the praise, there was one glaring omission: each other. Not a single heartfelt mention, no anecdotes about working together, no nostalgic nod to their shared storyline. In the world of media-savvy interviews, sometimes what's not said is louder than what is. Brandon, typically reserved, discussed his new role with intense focus, diving into his preparation, character psychology, and desire to push beyond his comfort zone. But when asked about his time in 1923, he kept things broad, never touching on the creative partnership with Julia that made his character's journey so compelling. For a love story that carried the emotional weight of an entire series, the silence felt deliberate. It wasn't bitterness, but it wasn't warmth either. It was clinical, like closing a chapter that no longer serves the narrative. Julia, known for her warmth and charisma, was equally careful. While she gushed about the opportunity 1923 gave her and expressed gratitude for the experience, her answers were polished to perfection, leaving out any real emotion tied to her co-star. For two actors whose on-screen chemistry felt dangerously close to real, this shift in tone feels like more than just moving on. It feels like a conscious unpairing, not just professionally, but perhaps personally as well. Fans, of course, picked up on it instantly. The interview clips sparked threads across Reddit, TikTok, and fan forums, dissecting their body language, their phrasing, and their pointed omissions. Were they avoiding the topic to maintain privacy, or was it a sign of distance, emotional or contractual? Either way, these interviews spoke volumes, not with what was said, but with what was carefully left out. The love story may have ended on-screen, but the mystery off-screen is just getting started. Other co-star dynamics in the Yellowstone universe. The Yellowstone universe is rich with rugged landscapes, family legacies, and power plays. But one of its secret weapons has always been the chemistry between its cast members. While Spencer and Alexandra stole hearts in 1923, they're far from the only co-stars whose dynamic shaped the franchise. Look no further than Rip and Beth. Cole Hauser and Kelly Riley have created a firestorm of passion and pain, with a bond so intense it often overshadows the show's biggest plot twists. Their off-screen camaraderie is equally magnetic, rooted in mutual respect and a deep understanding of their characters' emotional weight. Then there's the dynamic duo of Kevin Costner and Luke Grimes, who brought gravitas and quiet complexity to the father-son relationship between John and Case Dutton. Their chemistry isn't flashy, but it's foundational, a subtle tension laced with loyalty, betrayal, and legacy. In interviews, both actors have spoken with admiration about working together, highlighting the way their real-life dynamic informs their powerful on-screen bond. It's a quieter magic, but no less essential to the Yellowstone experience. In the prequel series 1883, Tim McGraw and Faith Hill stunned fans with their natural chemistry as James and Margaret Dutton. Sure, they're married in real life, but what made their dynamic so compelling was how they balanced intimacy with the raw, survivalist edge of the Western frontier. Their partnership felt real, grounded, and incredibly human. Behind the scenes, their real-life bond infused every scene with depth, and fans could feel it. It was one of the few times a real relationship translated seamlessly into a fictional world without feeling forced. Across every corner of the franchise, it's clear that casting in the Yellowstone universe is less about big names and more about real, believable energy between co-stars. Sometimes that chemistry turns into enduring partnerships, on-screen and off. Other times, like with Brandon and Julia, it burns bright and fast before cooling into silence. But no matter the outcome, the universe thrives on those electric connections, reminding us that in the world of cowboys and chaos, it's the relationships, messy, passionate, and unpredictable, that keep us coming back. Whether it's the end of an era or just the start of a new chapter, one thing's for sure: Spencer and Alexandra left a mark that won't be forgotten. As Brandon and Julia forge separate paths, fans are left piecing together the silence and the sparks, hoping for answers. The love story may have paused, but in the Yellowstone universe, nothing stays quiet for long. Stay tuned.